Warning, spoilies ahead. Scrolling through my hundreds of thousands of notifications from social
Well,
media.
you're
It's
adoring.
so
It's the
many.
fans. You've got so many fans.
They just won't let up,
I
It's
know.
just
Well, whenever I get messages, are always for you. Oh,
mm,
what's Dylan doing?
mm-hmm.
What's he like?
Oh,
What's he smell like?
you're friends with Dylan, aren't you?
Yeah. And it's always it's a lot of what's he smell like?
Yeah.
You're friends with him. What's he smell like?
You guys don't know you know what I smell like? It's for me to know and you to find out.
Yeah.
Never. You're never gonna find out. Come and find me. I dare you.
Yeah.
Try to smell me. I dare you. Hi, and welcome to Two Guys, One Film, part of the Project Nerd Podcast Network. I am Dylan.
And I'm Dane. And this episode, we watched the movie Cat People, 1982 movie. It's about a man, without like kind of talking about the beginning, it's
I think you kind of
like
have to.
yeah, it's like some sort of tribal. It's weird because it almost looks prehistoric when they cut in.
I think it is like it's supposed to be.
And I think they're like, from one of the things that I read, they used to sacrifice kids to the panthers or whatever.
Yeah, because like it took
And then
me
like their souls like got into them, and then somehow like within like, because I'm pretty sure that one part is the panther like banging that chick.
I don't know because like
Because
took me okay. So it took
but
me
then
a
she has to go in the
long.
cave too.
Yeah, see, I think it was a different girl. It almost seems like it took me
Well,
a
yeah,
long time
no,
to
I don't think
understand.
it's the same people, because like those other people are like, remember like her brother, like they're like split up, like they were or like
Orphans.
she
Yeah,
was in an orphanage and he stayed with the parents who were like in a circus or something.
yeah.
But
But like the intro girl tied up to the tree had like curly hair,
mhm,
and then the girl that got taken to the cave had like straight hair.
yeah.
So like, did they feed the panther with the one girl, and then she has got to like, I don't know. Like, it took me a
Yeah,
long
because
time to understand the cat people in this movie, and even when they explained it, I'm like, I still don't fucking understand.
yeah, it's super. Yeah. Let's see. Right here it says and this may I guess. A young woman's sexual awakening brings horror when she discovers her urges transform her into a monstrous black leopard. Okay, a leopard.
But she did. She only
Um,
like, spoiler alert. She only turns into that thing like twice in the movie. So
I know. Well, it's yeah, another spoiler. It's mostly her brother turning into it. I don't know. It's weird.
so like the weird. I'm gonna give like a weirdness of what I finally gathered from the movie. They can turn into leopard cat people whenever they want, but if they have sex, they can't turn back until they kill somebody. But
See,
they only can do
what I
that if
thought
they
it was
bang
like,
a person like them.
yeah, like that's
It was really weird because
because
I
like
think,
I know you can't come back from being a cat until you killed somebody.
but like he turns into a cat a couple times and
Yeah,
then
but
pops
does he?
back in.
I
But I
know,
guess
and
he
that's
always kills. Like, it's so confusing.
because
And then
I
I
feel
think,
like he's going around killing people.
yeah, but I think she turned into one when she's stalking Alice because she claws up her
Yeah,
sweater.
or
So
she can just
obvious,
make like panther or yeah, panther noises.
or claws. Anyway, that aside of us trying to break down this movie, let's try to shit,
Uh,
break down this movie. Um, let's start from the get-go.
all right,
Gordon
you got
get-go.
this sweet Conan style intro. What totally reminded me of Conan.
It was really dope. Like the sand blowing away with
Yeah,
David Bowie playing, and then like skulls in the fucking sand. I was like, dude, this seems like it would like. And then when it pans up and there's just people
yeah, they're like
doing
toiling
stuff,
in
and
the
like
cracked earth. Yeah,
they take
it's
the lady and she has like no Like she doesn't fight back at all. She just
No.
like ties up to a tree.
Okay, I guess it's time.
It just seemed like a David Bowie music video. That's why I was like really excited. I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is a David Bowie music
And
video.
I forgot the David Bowie part of it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, David, all right.
Because like I never knew the song Cat People was about this movie. I just thought it was a weird Bowie song.
I
I was
never
like,
put
oh.
two and two together.
Yeah, it's Bowie. I was like, it's Cat People, whatever. So I like when is it Irene or Irina? Irina?
Irina.
Irina. I like when she shows up at the airport and he grabs her by the shoulders, but he doesn't like hug her. He just like pulls her in and goes, welcome home. And then I was like,
Yeah.
it's not really like a nice
Like he starts off just being weird. Like,
so
man,
he's like a priest, right? Or a preacher or minister or
no,
something.
I think he's just no, I'm not sure what he does.
Because he was
I know,
she goes to the church to find him
yeah.
or something.
Well, there's that part where he does finally when she does finally find him after he's been like locked up at that zoo. Man, I'm all over it. This movie is definitely going to be all over the place.
The fucking place, yeah.
Well, he comes back when he finds her and he's like, and I don't remember if the part where she's looking around at the church is after this or not, but he comes in through the window and she's like, oh, where were you? And he's like praying. And so I took that as maybe like, okay, when what you said, finding him at the church, but also like preying on people. Like that's how I took it. I was like, yeah, you were praying all right.
She goes to this colorful ass church, like, yeah.
That's
so I think
that right there is a cult, sir.
Yeah, that's like a rainbow church. Like, yeah, right. I mean, there's like, as you can see, there are chairs color coordinated. So I guess your place in the church, if you're platinum level, you can go to the reds.
Yeah, you want to be up there in the reds. Man, you would really like to be up here on the stage.
I'm really confused because like, so she went to an orphanage, right? And foster parents.
Yeah.
She acts like she's never met him before, but then he was like, oh, we were playing and training to be in the circus. So she grew up with him, but does she just not remember it because she knew how to fucking juggle and then she knew the song that they were doing? Like I was really confused of like how long they had known each other before.
Part of that to me was just their like weird connection because of the whole like, you know, being like leopard people.
So when you're leopard people, you know a nursery rhyme and you can juggle balls easily.
I don't know. I don't know. That's just it. I'm like, well, do they have some sort of like telekinetic like connection because they're siblings? Are they twins? It doesn't really go into that either. Because I mean, they kind of seem like they're the same age ish. Although her brother seems like slightly older than her.
Yeah, because it sounded like I think she was like 4 when she got adopted or kicked out or whatever. I don't know.
So if that's the case, then I would assume that she just kind of forgot some stuff, but remembered a little bit when she was hanging out with them.
It got weird real fast with the
yes, it did
incestuous like shit. I got
like I mean,
like later on in the
feel
movie
about that. Like later on when he's like, oh yeah, our parents too. I'd be like, ah.
The only way that we can have sex without having to kill to turn back into a human is if we bang another panther person. And it's like, fine. That's
like, I feel like you're a lying sack of shit.
And like when she says, she's like, oh, you're not my brother. And I was like, I really hope he's not. And it's like, shit, he is. Fuck, he really is. And he's so sweaty. And then he like jumps on the bed like a cat, like perfectly
I know, like,
on the
and then
foot of the bed, just like,
and it's quiet too, just.
And then she does later on
that flip
over the fucking balcony. It's so quiet. She doesn't yell. She just like grabs it, does a cool turnover. And I was like, oh shit. Very cat like, and she does jump up a tree at the zoo.
Oh yeah, that's right. I like how okay, and this I forgot this guy was in it. Like I just kept thinking Dad from Home Alone. The dad
John
from Home
Hurd,
Alone, isn't it? Yeah.
Dude, rest in peace, John Hurd. Rest in peace.
I forgot he was in this. And I just kept thinking, the father. Like the entire time, every time he would come on screen, that's what I would think.
Oliver, the father. So I want to talk about the hooker scene where like, I think this, is a hotel they all go to because like the guy was like, oh, you're late. So I guess she works at this prostitution hotel. Anyway, she's talking and she
Well,
touches
no,
the
I think what
bed,
it's
and there's
supposed to be is a massage parlor.
oh,
Was
a
they
bed.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, she's like on the bed and she touches that slimy stuff, which I can only imagine is them when they shed
I've
their
got
skin, and
I've
she
got that.
smells it.
I know I've got that written down. Why did she smell it?
And then she touches it
Yeah.
again. So I wouldn't touch something slimy that's on a bed, let
Yeah, you
alone
find
smell it, and then fucking touch it again.
just reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where there's the fire and they put their hand in it and it burns them and then they just do it longer.
And I do like when the little leopard's under the bed and it scratches her and she falls down the stairs face first or slides down like we used to do
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Yeah.
And when she hits the bottom, of course, like we used to do when we were kids, our bra would just pop open.
Yeah, it just like clip. You know, it's just like that was convenient.
Oh no, it came undone as she looks at her ankle and screams.
Yeah.
This also had Ed Begley Jr. in it, which I love Ed Begley Jr.
What else was he in?
If you look up his IMDb credits, like 1,000 things. I know it's over exaggerating, but he's been quite a bit of things. He was the
oh yes
zookeeper guy that got his, spoiler alert, arm ripped off, which was
that's right. Yes,
so
that was awesome.
I wanted this movie to be more body horror, more visceral stuff than it actually was. I know it's probably like more of a thriller and stuff, but the moments that there was like that body horror shit, I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude.
I loved that scene was cool because like the blood just going like whoosh, like it kind of seemed a little out of place for the movie, but I really liked the way it looked and like the way it just went like splashing onto her feet.
Her like ballet shoes or whatever.
You know, I didn't even realize they are kind of like that.
Yeah. I liked so when Oliver and Alice and Ed Begley Jr. get called, which apparently they're just zoo people and they get called to any animal sort of thing. When he's crawling up the ladder, she's like, be careless. I was like, oh, you jokesters. And then he does his own stunt where he falls down the ladder and is like hanging on to it.
Oh yeah,
I know
like,
it's probably like
himself
10 feet up and he like does that dope ass flip.
Yeah.
And he
shoots like, man,
shoots the leopard. I want to call it a panther, but I know it's not. It's a leopard.
I know. I keep calling it a panther too. It's the panther.
The panther. And then that cool shot of the walkie-talkie, of course, has to fall and break open, and then it's never needed again. Like, he doesn't have his walkie. I'm like, he's like 10 feet up. I don't know why we had to show that scene of like, if he was a walkie-talkie, he would have exploded when he hit the ground.
Yeah. He would have just exploded like a burrito hitting the front of a car.
The Cajun lady or whatever she is that
why the hell did she go to jail? Was she
helping?
She was
I think she's technically it's like an accessory to the crime because there's like
because you kind of find out that he's been like kind of doing this for a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean she is an accessory to that because she never turned him in, so they're just like, nah, you'll do. But when like,
but it's weird because they make it seem like he would chain himself up down there.
It looks like he almost chained people up. I don't know. There's a lot that they didn't.
The way they like talk about it made it sound like that.
But I think you got she offers Irina breakfast in the morning, and she goes, "Do you want breakfast?" And Irina's like, "No." She's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna make you breakfast." I was like, "Why'd you fucking offer?"
I said no.
Yeah, don't even fucking offer. Just no. I'm gonna make it anyway. Do you want it? No, I'm gonna make it. It's cool. Also, I have to talk about that horrible like mural of Marilyn Monroe that was on the wall.
It looked like a dude in drag.
Oh, God. This is gonna take a second. We'll cut this out because I gotta show this. It's
funny because you are bringing up all of the stuff that like I just popped in that like as soon as I saw it, and I didn't even write that down.
This fucking picture.
Yes. Oh my God.
The eyeball. The mouth, and it's terrifying. I had to pause it to take a picture of this. This is
looks like a man
and it's like
up,
and it's
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, and it's just and there's a guy just sitting next to it, I guess, doing murals, but he's
I painted this. Yeah, it's awful.
Oh, it's really good, sir. Okay, so they take the leopard to the zoo, which why not, of course.
Yeah, this
And like
zoo that you can get uncomfortably close to the big
it's
cats.
I know it was built in the 1900s, but can't we fucking update it? This is like horrible for animals. They're like on concrete, the smallest thing. You have a tiger next to a fucking orangutan. They're
I
in
know.
horrible living conditions. Hey, we have a stick for the tiger. It's good. But
Yeah,
it's like,
he gets up next to it.
but like, I know like Oliver even mentions that, like, yeah, this was built in the 1900s. We're gonna like fucking fix it then. Build a new zoo. This
Yeah,
is so bad
but they
for
don't
the
have the
fucking
funding. They
animals.
barely have people to work there, apparently. Who wants to work in a zoo?
So yeah, she's like sketching what she doesn't know is her brother.
Like for hours and hours and
Yeah, the
hours,
zoo
apparently.
zoo closes and nobody's like, "Ma'am, the zoo's closed." They just let her do
Like
it,
nobody ever looks at the leopard or the
and then he just chases her down. Okay, so
she just like
random,
flies up that tree
yeah,
too.
because she's a cat person.
Yeah.
There's a random scene. This whole movie is just fucking random. There's a random scene where like he's closing down and he's listening to that tape of I think like some kind of play, and I thought he was like going to
Looks
be
like
trying out
Shakespeare.
to be an actor or something, or is there a reason he's like
Yeah, they
memorizing that?
never go into that.
It's
That's it.
just
He does
he's
that. He's listening to some Shakespeare. It looks like he's somewhat memorizing a play, and that's all.
it's just like, hey, I like memorizing words, but I'm never gonna act on it.
Maybe his company puts on a play, the zoo.
So I like how he takes her out. She's like, I don't eat meat. So then he takes her to eat oysters. I was like, that'll do. I don't know, just suck these down your throat.
Yeah, just suck him down. Have a beer.
And
I mean, a
yeah,
cola.
the beer that he hands her is like all head.
I
There's
know.
like
Like,
this much beer in it, and he's just like poured it straight. I'm like, well, no wonder you got so much fucking foam, dude. You
you
don't have to
ever
pour
fucking
it.
had a beer, you
Dude,
turd?
swish it down with some beer. Oh, did you notice he had a fucking rat in his pocket? So the next day after the date, he's
Oh,
walking
that
down the
dead
line.
rat.
Yeah, he's walking down the line with like Ed Begley Jr. and stuff. And he's like, "Here, you get a rat." And it's like folded up, and he just pulled
Yeah,
it out of his pocket. I'm like, how the fuck do you have a rat in your pocket, dude?
I was assuming that it was like frozen or just not a real rat.
I do got to give a shout out to Ray Wise, who was the opera man in the opera that the monkey was watching.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was like, he's fucking Ray Wise, dude. Fuck
I like how
yeah.
I like how the guy just walks in there and watches. He hands him an apple, and they
Poncho.
both start eating an apple,
Yeah.
watching it.
So why did they strap the cattle prod to his arm?
That's what I was wondering.
I feel like that's a
Do
little
the leopards
overkill.
normally like rip it out of their arm? Or
I mean, it backfired because
well, yeah,
he
like
ripped his arm out of
immediately.
him. So it was such a just a visceral scene out of nowhere, just like a shitload of blood. And then I was like,
Well, you can see like the
whoa.
tendons all like
Yeah. And then later
like
on,
whoa.
when he's going to grab the gun, which is a horrible way to put down an animal, we'll just shoot it. Alice hugs him and she goes, he was only 26 years old. Like it doesn't matter how old he was. He died by getting his arm ripped off, lady.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
tragic
God, he was
either
only
way.
26. So it would have been fine if he was like, well, I mean, if he would have been in his like late 80s, it would have been fine. It's a way to go right there, getting your arm ripped off by a leopard
That's the way I want to go, trying to cattle prod something, then just arm ripped straight
with
off.
with your arm like strapped into something in a 1930s zoo.
God, it was such a horrible fucking zoo. Like I felt bad. Like the
I did
thing
too.
I
I'm like,
thought
God, they're
about
like
the
in little
most,
squares.
yeah, the thing I thought about the most watching that movie is like, man, these fucking poor animals, dude. This is like such shitty thing on. I couldn't like finish watching the movie. I'm like, fuck these fucking zookeepers, man. This is not a good living conditions. So, well, like, any zoo is not really good living conditions for
I
animals,
know.
but especially that one.
Yeah, that one. That's
So I like when her brother blasts through that window dressed in all black. I was like, you didn't have to do it. You could have just opened it, just like
yeah.
jumps through all hard.
Yeah, like
And
why did where does he get these clothes?
I
Is
don't
he just
know.
like
Maybe of the people he murdered, he does a Marv is like, that's a mighty fine coat and you're bleeding all over it, you know? So
and he just takes the coat.
Yep.
Well, yeah, he jumps through with like a trench coat.
Yeah, all sweaty.
I thought it was rainy outside.
Apparently it's always raining, like pouring. I don't live out in New Orleans, but I guess it must be always pouring. But
Either
I like
they,
how he has that. He's like trying to get her to have sex with him. And he goes, then there's only one other thing. And he hands her that glass shard. And she takes it. And then she like goes to stab him. And all she does is like hit his hand. I was like, that's all you got? That's a huge fucking shard. And all you did was hit his hand.
yeah,
And
and
then he
like
like starts,
must be like really slightly, and it was, and I was like, man, she must have hit his hand pretty damn hard because he like falls over after that, like he's in a lot of pain.
and then he
But then he just,
transforms
yeah,
because his little paw comes out of his hands, which was cool. Like I really wanted more of that, more of
I
that
know, I
visual
did
body
too.
horror shit of like skin ripping off. And they never explain the gooiness that's on them. Like I'm just imagining that's like post transformal shit. Like
Yeah,
when he
like
gets
that's what comes off when they
that cold cut deli thing off his belly and he eats
and
it.
eats it.
Like and that stain on the bed and like the poop smears on him. Like I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's like your skin kind of just like falling off. Like because I thought it was just straight up shit on him when he's in the bathroom, just laying there like
He says, I couldn't make it to the toilet.
he had a rough night. He ate a whole lot of spicy Cajun food and just
A lot
couldn't
of
make it.
spicy Cajun people.
I do have to give the police credit in this movie when she's running away and the cops find her and they're trying to help her out. The other cop pulls up with the canine unit and it starts barking and he's like, "Oh, it must send something. Let's check it out." In any other movie, they'd have been like, "Ah, it's nothing." And
Yeah,
then they
shut
just
up, dog. We're getting out of here. Yeah, I
full
know.
fucking investigation, find all this stuff. They're finding all this evidence and everything. I'm like, this is good
Well,
police work. What the
I
fuck?
feel like they were already suspecting him of stuff. They thought he, well, no, I think they thought he was doing some sort of like
Ritual.
ritualistic, yeah,
Yeah.
where he was just like killing people and feeding them to a panther or a jaguar
Just
or
like
whatever.
kudos to that guy. It's like, oh, the dog senses something. Let's check it out. And it's like, fuck, dude. I'm not used to that in a horror movie. Cops just like, that's probably nothing. Keep going, Fred.
Yeah.
So he takes her to like a cabin, like a fishing cabin. Is that what that was?
Yeah, well, has that guy hanging out there as well,
Yeah.
who
There's
you
always
only
the
see once, and I
I
totally
see him
forgot about.
twice.
Well, yeah, but I had forgotten about him at that point, and I had to like stop and be like, who the hell was that?
Yeah. But I like
I'm
his
like, man, like
line
a like a
of
true cat dragging him up into a
exactly.
tree.
I like Oliver's line of like, oh, the alligators, they're gonna get you. There's only one way to keep an alligator away. You gotta make love because they don't like the sounds. I was like, ooh, that's gross, dude.
Like,
It's not really a romantic thing. Like, oh, we should do it so the alligators don't eat
yeah,
us.
you don't want to get eaten by alligators, do you?
Time to go. Let's go, lady.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. And then like when she goes out like hunting, I guess.
I got trippy fast, dude. Like it got blue, and then she'd see the rabbit all green and then pink. I was like, this is fucking cool.
And like the like I don't know, she was it worked well, like her acting like a cat, like when she walked up to the snake and then like hissed, and she does that like going behind the tree thing. And I'm like, I could, you know what, I could totally see a cat doing that. I really kind of wish we could have seen her like hunting down the rabbit though, you know?
It did have probably the coolest like David Lynch jump scare for me was he wakes up because he hears the
Oh, and
door and it's
that
dark
made me jump too.
and he turns the light on. She's got blood and she goes, "Don't look at me," and then hits the light. I was like, this is like
Yeah,
a
that
fucking David Lynch scene. Holy
that made
shit.
me jump.
I really wanted her to bring back the dead rabbit like it was a cat bringing a dead bird, like a gift. Like, this is for you. Like, just laid on him.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I brought this back, but I want you to have it.
I was compelled to bring you this dead
Yeah.
rabbit.
When her brother is with that woman, like is he just doing that stuff because he's jealous of his sister being with that other guy?
I don't know because it just seems like he just likes to do it. I think he just likes to bang women, turn into a panther, leopard, and then just kill people.
Oh, I guess
I mean,
that
it's,
makes
I don't
sense.
know. He just, I mean, towards the end, I think he's just losing it. So I think he was probably a little jealous of her and Oliver. But
Yeah, because I like, and then eating the, was it part of her or part of his like goo from like
It
transforming.
just looked like he laid on like a slice of turkey or something. It was just
He
like,
fell
oh shit.
asleep on a sandwich. And
Yeah.
well, it's weird because when he's eating it, he like kind of gags a
Yeah.
little bit too.
And once again, great police work, because the guys are like, hey, we found this dead lady. She was spotted at the cemetery with this guy. It's obviously your brother. And I was like, man, these guys are fucking good. They do a little bit of overkill at the end, but they're good.
Like when she goes, like when she does turn into the
Yeah.
panther and they're on the bridge. I love that. Oh, they work for the zoo, and the cop's just like,
Let him in. Yeah.
hold on a sec. All
Yeah,
right,
you're
you can
good.
go through. Like,
Yeah.
what was the point?
It's okay. It just reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. Like, it's okay. I'm a limo driver. I just want to do that. It's okay. I work with the zoo.
And he does it twice, and they're like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah, he's gonna talk the panther off the bridge. He's like seriously? Like, I feel like they wouldn't have cared. Like, I don't care. That's a like, what are you gonna do?
So this
Unless
is
you're
out of your
gonna like tranquilize it.
jurisdiction.
Like,
You're not animal
sorry.
control. You're the
Yeah.
zoo. So there was a line Oliver said to Irina that really bothered me when he's like, telling her he loves her. He goes, I loved you before you were born. It's just like,
How?
yeah, how much older are you than her? And also, it's just fucking weird.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say. Yeah, so I loved you before you were born.
Yeah, no big deal. I'm not like bragging or nothing, but I loved you before you were born. So I love the scene when Oliver's fighting the leopard and the doorknob gets knocked off, right? And he's like, go get the shotgun. And instead of like trying to open the cabinet, she just like busts it open. It's probably
Yeah,
unlocked. And
that's
then
what
she
I thought. I'm
just
like, why are you
shoots
breaking
it
the glass?
straight out the fucking window. I was like, holy shit, lady.
I know. Well, and he's right there. It's like you're shooting a shotgun. Realize that it's gonna spread. Like that's a risky shot to take.
Yeah. And he like is just holding it back with a piece of a chair, like really small piece of a
It's
chair. I'm like,
creepy.
this ought
That
to
part
do it.
was creepy too. Like when not this one. Like when
Oh,
like the part you're talking about when he's her brother's in there and he's like kind of halfway transformed and
and
he's like,
he's
oh,
yeah,
Oliver, and he just like
yeah.
runs at him and but that was also a really cool scene because then he turns like into the like the cat like halfway through the shadow.
That's why I just wanted more of that, like more of
Yeah,
him, the transformations. Like you only see it like barely a handful of times.
because it has sort of like a werewolf-esque style situation, and you're right. I totally wanted to see more like transforming. I wanted to see like, yeah, more of that.
Like I feel like, budget reasons, but like when after he gets stabbed before he attacks Oliver, like his skin is splitting open and there's like hair underneath of it.
Yeah,
And there's like little nails coming out of him. I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. I want more of that. They blew it all on this part, which does an autopsy for a panther leopard that he knows got shot. So it's like, let me do this. I gotta know. I'm like, he got
man,
shot. He fell out
he
of a
wastes like no time getting in there too. He's like, all right, got it, and he just grabs him. There he goes. I gotta cut this bad boy open.
which I also did feel bad because it was obviously like a tranquilized actual leopard because it's like tongues out and you can tell it's real because it's like weighted and they're like dragging it on. I'm like, can we just use a stuffed one? Like just use this.
I know, like I thought that too. I'm like, I know at this point in time they could have made a really real looking stuffed one.
Mm-hmm. It's the
We know
80s,
it's gonna
animal
be
rights.
authentic, you know. I know. Yeah, in
This,
'82 we didn't care. We'll drag a leopard around all day.
this cat was filled with an arm and a bunch of smoke bombs,
Yeah, yellow ones.
which they like, it just like randomly happened too. Like it just suddenly was melted. I was like, whoa, that's it. Like I
So
really
like,
wanted to
was
like
this
see a
somebody that
full
he ate, or
body.
was this like hint like her brother like folded up inside of the cat?
I don't know because you don't get to see. Like I was expecting like him to be inside of it, but then like the panther was tearing through his skin. So I don't know, like because if
You
he ate
just
a
like
whole
tear through
arm,
you tear through the panther as
yeah,
when you come back.
and then you eat all the cold cuts that were in the panther
Yeah, you
leopard.
you finish
Damn.
off the rest of the panther bits. Well, because
Yep.
you don't want anybody to know that you've become a panther. I
Yeah,
guess you have to do the same thing if you're,
gotta eat it all.
yeah. Like I like that part, or I kept thinking to myself, like, well, we were talking about them being able to transform back and forth, and when Irina goes and she's chasing that other woman around when she goes to the pool, and you hear him like walking around, and then like the lights switch. I just imagine her as like the panther, like walking through, just and then like using the paw to just be like. But then I think there's even like a shadow of like the panther, right? Like, don't they
Mm-hmm.
show a shadow?
Yeah, you hear growling, you see the shadow, you see the tear marks on her sweater, and also jumping into a pool after you hear growling, probably not a good idea.
No.
I'll get away from it this way.
Yeah, they don't swim, right?
I do want to give credit to the steady cam for that scene when she's running through the park and the camera's following her and he goes like through bushes and stuff. I'm like, that's really impressive. It's not bouncing a lot. So
Yeah.
kudos to the shout out to the steady cam, the cameraman. It's a good steady cam. And how like Alice instantly knew. She's like, ah, you want to hurt me, you want to kill me. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, I don't know. That movie, the ending of the movie should have happened a lot sooner. Like the brother getting shot and then Irina like embracing the leopard lifestyle, if you will, and
I felt
hunting
like that
people
too.
down.
Like
Because it was like
the ending felt kind of rushed. Like they were like, "Oh shit, I forgot there's more of this, and we're running out of money. We better hurry up and film it." Because like there was a lot of dude ass in the end. Like you're just like you could have spread that out a little bit. Like
nope, all at once.
you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it all at once. I was so stoked to be seeing some John Hurd
Mm,
ass.
mm. I liked her dream sequence though. I think it was like a dream or vision when she's like on the train and she goes to like that area. Hang on. When she goes to this place with her brother.
Oh yeah, and he's like explaining to her what's going
Yeah.
on.
And he's got his Kylo Ren look where his black pants are pulled up super high and he's got no shirt.
Yeah, I was like, why is he shirtless?
Because
Whatever, I guess it
he's
doesn't
a
matter.
leopard, dude.
Then why is he wearing pants?
Cause,
They're already
dude.
showing tons of dude ass. Why didn't they show Malcolm McDowell's dude ass too?
Well, they did it a few times. So he's like, you know what? I'm done putting pants on, guys.
Yeah, can you wear pants for this scene? We've seen enough.
Yeah. I didn't want to see it the first time. Yeah, it was a dope ass like scene. It was like I'm watching a Tarsem movie or once again another David Bowie music video. I was like, this is fucking cool. Irina like hunts down Alice. Alice calls Oliver to warn him. And Irina's there and she just starts getting like naked and stuff and he hangs up the phone. I really wanted to be like, dude, I just saw an arm come out of a panther and melt into acid. I don't have any time for love, Dr. Jones. I look fucking haggard. And he did for like the rest of the movie, that like dark circles and he's all
Yeah.
sweaty.
And
But
then
yet
he also just found his like friend's corpse in a tree. Sorry, I had to kill him.
Mhm.
And then she
I'm
just like
totally fine.
tells
Let's
him
do
that
it,
too.
dude.
All right,
Yeah.
now let's bang.
All right, dude. Why
It's not
not?
like I mean, because like I feel like he didn't really know she was gonna turn into a panther at that point.
I
And
don't.
then
I think
like, does he know or doesn't he know?
he knows because after the first time she
I mean, is
transforms into
the
one.
arm his indication to that like it's her brother who's turned into that?
I think so because after she turns the first time, makes a bunch of noise, and he never wakes up until she's on top of him as a leopard. But then he's like, Irina, please don't. And then she leaves. So at that
Yeah.
point, he knew she was the cat. So before that, I guess just because an arm was in a cat, it's like, oh, this must be her brother.
It totally looks like her brother's hand. That one time I was really close to his hand.
Yeah. This was Ed Begley Jr.'s arm. Oh, shit.
He ate the whole arm, just like swallowed it. Where was the little taser thing with it? The prod. And yeah, you were right about that scene where she's being super loud, like tearing the bed up and shit.
Flopping around, just breathing loud. And he's just
And
like,
doesn't realize that she turns into that until he's like literally, or she's literally on top of him, and she like pops like a balloon, like the skin's like pop, and then she's like,
oh,
it's
sorry,
loud.
I'm so sleepy afterwards. Ooh.
And then like it doesn't show her getting untied either, or is that like before?
That's the before the end. So he ties her up. They proceed to do it. I'm assuming she turns into a panther, and then he like takes her in, which so she says, I want to be with my kind. I'd assumed like in the wild,
Yeah, that's what
like
I thought. And
not in
then
a fucking zoo. That's not with your kind. That's in a cage.
in like a 12 by 12 cage.
And it gives her some meat, gives her a scratch on the chin, and then that's all good.
I know. And then that long scene of the until like the the Bowie song really
Yeah.
gets heavy.
Mouth opens up.
Yeah. Wow.
But I'm glad Alice got a good ending. She finally got with Oliver. She finally found true love with him, you know. So good for her. Go
I
Alice.
feel kind of bad for Irina. She's stuck in a zoo for the rest of her life, I guess.
That's what she wanted.
I
She
mean,
wanted to be
unless
with
she
her
kills
kind.
somebody.
That's the sequel.
Cat people too.
Irina's Revenge.
Cat people again.
And I just remembered this. She's at the bar with Alice discussing her gross, pervy foster parents,
Yeah.
like over the top touching. And that like woman just starts talking to her, like it was like mi hermana or whatever she
Yeah.
said.
So
And
is that
then
like another Catwoman?
it must be because it's never fucking explained again. So it's like you're not really the last of your kind if there's a lady out there. Yeah, I want they should have gone more with that. I was like,
Like there's a lot of cool directions this could have taken. I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer that they didn't, or that they didn't have time or whatever it was. And yeah, it's like it's cool, but like yeah, there's stuff
it
they could have totally expanded on.
it could have been more. I think it wanted to be too much of a sexy thriller. Let's have nudity kind of a thing, but also
Yeah,
throw in some
like thriller
horror
horror aspects.
aspects. Yeah. But to me, it could have started a lot faster. It could have been more of like the cat and mouse chase of them trying to get this leopard and then her changing into it and then just like hunting people down. Like it.
Like I think it would have been better if her brother died way earlier in the movie,
Mhm,
and then she kind of starts to figure this out. Like maybe she kills a few people and doesn't really realize it. Sort of more like a werewolf situation.
yeah.
But I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's where the artist wanted to take it,
Yeah.
because it is apparently based off of a story.
I know there's the original Cat People movie from like the 30s or the 40s too,
I can actually
which
see
this
it.
is like a remake of it, but not like super
Like
remake of it.
this has better reviews. It came out in 1942.
I've only seen parts of that one, but
And this one is: an American man marries a Serbian immigrant who fears that she will turn into a cat person of her homeland's fables if they are intimate together. So if they bang, then she'll turn into a cat.
this was
This
like
is a little bit more straightforward than the 82, where it's all over the place.
let's add some sexiness to it and some, oh yeah, let's get this, oh, ham on the bone. Oh.
Yeah, that I feel like they tried to add way too much of that, and I think they could have gotten away with adding what they had if they would have like kind of touched a little bit more on like some of the other random stuff going on in the movie.
I think it's a movie of its time because it's the 80s, so they really wanted to go with that, push it to the edge, like sexy, let's add sex and violence to a thing, but they didn't do it in the right way. Like horror movies, they all do this, but this didn't balance it in a right way of enough like horror to match like
Yeah,
the sex part of it. I don't know.
yeah, like the sex part of it, sort of like, and it all again comes like slamming you in the face right at the end, so it kind of just weighs it down at the end. And I don't know, the ending isn't like it could have been like I think if they wouldn't have crammed all that shit at the end, and like the ending wouldn't have been so lackluster, I guess.
I think yeah, I would have felt more
Maybe
for
more,
her.
yeah, maybe more attached to the lead, like more attached to Irina being a cat, like in that specific ending. If you would have had more time with her throughout the movie, like kind of figuring out
Yeah, more of
what
her
was going on
struggle
with
of trying
her.
to be like
Yeah,
a human or a cat person. Like I feel like more sympathy towards her if like we would have spent most of the movie like her trying to figure it out, not just suddenly going, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a cat person. So
And I don't want to kill people, so let me live here in the zoo. And I end up like feeling a lot worse for the other animals that have been
yeah,
there for years and years
yeah,
and years.
exactly. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about her. I care about this fucking orangutan who watches
And
soap
then I'm
operas.
wondering, like, is Oliver gonna tell anybody?
Would they believe him if he did?
Just hanging out with so there's like I banged that panther over there a few times.
When I was with that panther, she was a lady. No
Yeah,
big deal.
but I did it
Twice. Yep.
Like,
Sure you did, Oliver. Sure you did.
okay,
You are
that's
now
weird.
fired from the
Yeah,
zoo.
you're no longer curator of the zoo.
He has that really good joke that just goes right over her head when he gives her the job in the gift shop. She's like, "Oh, I like being around the animals." And he's like, Allie the alligator. And he's like, oh, you just got to feed him a pillow once in a while because they're like stuffed animals.
Yeah,
Right over her fucking head. I was like, that's fucking funny, dude.
I know you're sitting there like, good one.
Feed him a pillow.
Yeah, that scene in the cemetery was weird too.
It was just, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why is he just hanging out there? Oh, hey, can I take your picture? And she's like, oh yeah, totally. Like she's just like all cool with it. Then
It's
I also
okay,
thought then too,
hon.
I'm like, oh,
It
in the
happens to
80s.
everybody.
I know.
But there was
Like,
what's weird is there was a lot of people at the cemetery. So do people go there as like a tourist thing, or just people down there like so fucking weird? It's like, let's hang out at the cemetery.
well, I don't know. I mean, I know that there's a lot of like, sculptures and stuff in their cemeteries.
I mean, I know
I
that's
don't know,
where
maybe
like
they are kind of cool.
Nicolas
I don't know. It
Cage
was kind of
spent
cool
some
looking
of his
at
time filming Ghost Rider. So
chilling in a cemetery.
I think, and he like went through the streets of New Orleans with like a vial of his blood around his neck and his face painted. So he like really went all in for Ghost Rider, but it wasn't that great of a movie. But I can appreciate the man for his dedication to a role. You
It
know,
could have been. I bet you the movie would have been way cooler if they would have just like listened to him, take notes
Mhm.
from him.
It's like, what if we do this? It's like, no, we gotta do it this
Well,
way.
it has to be like the comic ish.
But that dude reads more comics than the people who made it. Fucking Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage
let
knows
him
his
do
shit, dude.
it.
Release the Cage cut.
Right? The cage cut. Oh man, it's a good one though. He's
He's
the
the
only
only
one that can
one.
walk. Only one that can walk in both worlds.
That's right. Oh, it feels like my skull's on fire.
Well,
Should we try? Should we rate it?
yeah, let's rate it.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm gonna give this movie. It was good. It was slow. I wish it could have been better. So I'm gonna give this movie 6.8 David Bowies.
All right. I'm right there with you. Like it's got a lot of cool stuff. Like there's like all this cool like lore they could go into with it. And maybe the story that it's based off of goes into some of that. Maybe it's a lot. I don't want to say it's a lot cooler because this movie is pretty cool. Like it's got some really cool stuff to it, but I think it falls a little bit short on the like the whole changing into a cat and like just Irina's story in general. But it since I'll give it I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 David Bowie's.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I mean, again, good, but not like it falls short. It sucks because
it
like
just
there's really cool stuff about this.
it had so much potential to just be that much better and be like just like fucking stand out to me. But
We need a new cut of this. Maybe if
yeah,
maybe there's some stuff they had to cut out and there's some like really cool shit they had to cut out.
release the whatever this guy's name is cut.
It's
Started trend on Twitter.
It's Paul Schrader.
Release the Schrader cut, dude.
That was Cat People.
That's Cat People, and that was
82 version.
Two guys, one film. I am Dylan,
And I'm Dane. Do you have to close out with a Project Nerd thing?
Just go on Project Nerd.
Yeah.
Check
Us out. Check out the other people on Project Nerd. It's awesome. It's the only place you're gonna find us now.
And you want to find us, don't you?
How could you not want to when we keep bringing you gems like this?
Gems upon gems, diamonds in the rough, a bag of
Yeah.
jewels.